This quarterback, I mean, this is unbelievable. They're almost duplicates. And again, no Ricky Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk. These guys are duplicates. So who is the doppelganger? Who is the duplicate of Mac Jones? Well, Dak Prescott. 2 weeks ago, you had him as MVP. He's got CeeDee Lamb. You got George Pickens. Mac's doing it without a number one or a number two receiver. All right, let's do the next one. Well, this one is unbelievable. I mean, Mac is clearly better than this guy. Mac's got more first downs, more 300-yard games, more yards per attempt, more yards per game, much more accurate. Who is this stiff? Oh, it's Baker Mayfield, who's having a great year. Okay, Baker's having a very good year. All right. Well, we can do a couple more to prove my point. Let's throw another one up there. Here's another quarterback who, I mean, might as well be the exact same numbers. Mac's a little bit more accurate than this quarterback who has one more start. Who's this guy? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
Mac Jones, baby. Better than Patrick Mahomes. And no one can say that the injuries for Mahomes, the injuries. Seems like not everything is all that it seems in the NFL. This is why in the NFL there is such an emphasis of getting the job done when it matters most and not just bottom line stats. You know, this is why it takes such nuance to have these conversations, and why sometimes things can be correct in one instance and wrong in another instance. But I'd hardly say that in this exact instance now that this in any way is inherently misleading. Obviously, to the core, with a shadow of a doubt, Patrick Mahomes is better than Mac Jones. Do not get it twisted. If you put Mac Jones on the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not winning all these Super Bowls. I'm a believer in that. But at the same time, to pretend like the Chiefs would be nowhere is the wrong takeaway as well. But it is fascinating because we saw Tua and Geno and you know, they had better seasons than Mahomes. And to be clear, this video is not about Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. It's just about quarterback play. I just remember being like, you know, I think it was like 23 and being like, you know, Geno's got better numbers. Tua's got better numbers. I think Baker Mayfield had better numbers than Patrick Mahomes. Does that mean that they're better than Patrick Mahomes? Like, of course not. But yet they do have better numbers. And this is where consistency matters also so much. Do you make the plays when they matter most? And how consistently are your performances? But listen, we can downplay what Mac Jones is doing, and it's the same people that downplayed what Sam Darnold was doing. And how has that aged? Terribly. Absolutely, positively, terribly. Super duper Mahomes fan, Nick Ray, was just like, the Seattle Seahawks were making a mistake. They're going to regret getting Sam Darnold. And now he has them listed as the best team in the NFL. He's literally calling them a juggernaut. Being a quarterback is complicated and also incredibly easy. Give him a good coach. Give them a good enough team. And you're going to have success as long as there's actual inherent talent. And Mac Jones clearly does. And the whole conversation of, oh, well, can you carry a team? Can you not? Like, I've been banging this drum now probably for over a year. Like, it doesn't matter. Because you're not going to win a Super Bowl without a great team anyway. So it's just, how do you play when you have a great team around you? And again, even right now, the 49ers hardly have this great team in terms of the roster and all the injuries in and out of the lineup. Honestly, it's kind of hard to figure out how great the 49ers are because you don't know who's playing in any given moment. Like, even these stats are so tricky because you're like, how many games was Kittle playing? Not as many. Juwan Jennings, was he there? Like, what? You know, it's like, it'll break your brain. It'll break your brain. So things like this are fascinating. And it's why I kept saying Mac Jones is impressing me a lot. I'm like, Mac Jones has been great. I'm like, even when they lost against the Bucks, I'm like, yeah, I actually really thought Mac Jones played a great game considering the circumstances. And also why I hate the MVP conversation. Because in what world should have Mahomes been favored to win the MVP over Mac Jones? He shouldn't. Baker Mayfield shouldn't. You know, and it's just like, because Mac Jones especially, it's not like if this was the 49ers of 22 or something, or 23, I could understand, right? I could understand, but that's obviously not the case. I mean, I think the 49ers are still considered like the most injured team in the NFL now, like for like back-to-back years. So a conversation like this does continue to really kind of go against the grain of how people want to view the NFL. People do inherently just want to say the Chiefs are winning because of Mahomes. The Bills are winning because of Josh Allen. The Ravens are winning because of Lamar. This quarterback is not. Sam Darnold is not good. And he goes to a new team, he's playing well, and they're like, well, it's because of the team. And it's like, well, it's because of the team, but then why does Mahomes get all the credit? And it's just like, people just want to be able to just view it through the quarterback is or he isn't. Because it's simple. It makes sense. It's easy to just say Mac Jones is not a good quarterback. Now he's having success with the 49ers. Like, yeah, it's because it's Shanahan. And it's like, well, yeah, Shanahan is going to benefit his quarterback. He's going to improve the quality of his quarterback play. Well, and that means Brock Purdy's not that good. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that either. Well, what about Mahomes and Andy Reid? Well, so Andy Reid, if Shanahan's helping out Mac Jones, I'm sure Andy Reid's helping out Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, but Andy Reid wasn't really anything before Mahomes. Well, that's not really true either. It's like, there's no reliable way to have like an actual accurate, grounded conversation with some of this stuff. Especially because people become individual fans of quarterbacks beyond just a team. And certainly there's very few people who are just like individual coaching fans. Maybe once you get older. But definitely there's no like 25-year-old who's like, oh, I want a Kevin O'Connell. I want a Kevin O'Connell jersey. I want to wear a Kevin O'Connell shirt. That's what I want to be. When Kevin O'Connell goes to a new team, when he gets fired and goes to a new team, like, I'm going to be a fan of that team now. It's like, that's not how it works. So Patrick Mahomes got traded to the Panthers overnight. Millions upon millions of people are Panthers fans now. So we have tricky conversations with all of this. But how do you make sense of something like this? It is interesting. You have him have better stats than Mac Jones. Better than Baker Mayfield. Better than Dak Prescott. Or, right around the same. And yet, again, Dak, $60 million man. Patrick Mahomes, $1 billion man. It's interesting. It really is. I mean, I made a video talking about this last year or last summer. Let's just take Geno Smith. He had a lot of interceptions, no doubt. 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He was hardly on this great team, this stacked team. He had a 70% completion percentage, 4,320 yards, 7.5 yards per attempt. Okay? He was pressured 251 times, which is insane. That's through the roof. It was top in the NFL. So some of the interceptions make sense. And had a passer rating of 93. Again, this was light years higher than what Patrick Mahomes was doing. It was above Lamar. Patrick Mahomes had 26 touchdowns and a few less interceptions. Had a lower completion percentage, less yards, and was pressured like 40 times less. And it's like, how do you make sense of that? Because I'm not arguing that Geno Smith is better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not making that argument at all. I'm not even making the argument that Geno Smith played better than Patrick Mahomes last year. It's just interesting. Everyone wrecked Aaron Rodgers for being a bum, and yet he had more touchdowns, less interceptions than Patrick Mahomes. He certainly wasn't on a great team. He certainly didn't have a great coach. His completion percentage was slightly lower. Had a passer rating of 90. Mahomes was 93.5. Aaron Rodgers had less time to throw, 2.65 to 2.76. So it's just like, how do we wrestle some of these things? And the reality is there's actually no real easy answer. It's why Tom Brady decided to pick Geno Smith over Sam Darnold, which ended up being a really bad decision. And that's Tom Brady. And it's why scouts and teams, draft the wrong guys all the time. Because it's not just, oh, this guy's got better numbers, therefore he's better. And I don't inherently believe the whole clutch gene or this. I mean, like there's a degree of that, of being able to handle the moment and all of that, but like, I'm not under the impression that, say, like a Mac Jones can't handle the moment. It's 3rd and 3. I mean, we've seen him do it. It's the 4th quarter, 3rd and 3, gotta have it. It's like, yeah. Now, is a Mac Jones as versatile as, say, a Mahomes or Josh Allen, where now the pressure's coming, running for him, and you need someone to just really try to make something out of nothing? It's like, yeah, in those moments, you really want, like, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, because of their mobility, because of what they can do from an off-the-script perspective. But it's just, it really is a fascinating conversation. And you can't really give a satisfying answer right now as to why Mac Jones has equal or better stats than Patrick Mahomes. And you can't say injuries. You can't say injuries. You can't say Super Bowls. It has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything. It's like we're talking about this season. And it's just fascinating to me. It really is. Yeah. It's why I rejected the idea whenever it talks about how great of a coach Kevin O'Connell is, and I think he is, they'll use like Kirk Cousins as an example. And it's like, Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. Kirk Cousins had, Colin could make similar blind reveals with like a Kirk Cousins, especially when he was actually closer to his prime and was healthy and whatnot. Obviously, he was an older quarterback, so it was a little bit more short-lived, but it's like you bring Kirk Cousins there at 27, 28, you're going to have a ton of success. We see it with Sam Darnold. We see it with Flacco right now. Put Flacco on an offense that he can thrive and he put up great numbers. Doesn't mean that he's better than Joe Burrow, but it does mean that he's certainly a lot better than people ever gave him credit for. So maybe saying the Ravens won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, that might not be the dunk you think it is. But again, there's no real satisfying answer to this dilemma that we face of how do we make sense of it. And it's just like, well, I just see it then. And especially if we're not going to reduce it to like mechanics or something. I mean, you can make the argument, and I'm not making this argument, but you could make the argument that actually it was more impressive what Geno Smith was able to do than what Patrick Mahomes was able to do, because he was being pressured so much more. He doesn't have Andy Reid, right? Like he doesn't have this all-time great coach, this all-time great tight end, right? You can genuinely make the argument of like, it's actually more impressive what Baker Mayfield did, right? Like Baker Mayfield putting up 71.4% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 7.9 yards per attempt. Now, he was pressured a lot less, 159 times, relative to, say, a Patrick Mahomes 212. But it's like, if we're going to play that game, which I do, parse it out for all the other previous seasons then. And make sure you give Joe Burrow the benefit of the doubt for being pressured 248 times. And throwing for 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 4,918 yards, and a 70.6% completion percentage. Like, that's, since we can't get settled on the rules of the game and how we want to have these conversations, everyone's right and everyone's wrong. So I'm curious how you guys look at things like this and how you guys process this. And I'm just trying to really encourage you, please don't just reference winning Super Bowls or something like that. Because it's just, I'm telling you right now, that's not the answer. It's really not. It's not the answer. MVPs, voted awards, Pro Bowls, Super Bowls, it's not the answer. It's not the answer. And Jalen Hurts proves that, because no one gives Jalen Hurts the benefit of the doubt. People are still saying, oh, Baker Mayfield's better than Jalen Hurts. And it's like, well, Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl and he's a Super Bowl MVP. And they're like, yeah, but the team. And it's like, so again, so you want to talk about the team in that specific moment, but then you don't want to talk about the team and like, so that's why it's like, and again, previous accolades have nothing to do with production this year. And even when I referenced Geno Smith being more impressive, and they're like, well, yeah, but Patrick Mahomes went to the Super Bowl. And it's like, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes played on a better team. And it's, again, it's not just about the Super Bowl, because then under that logic, would you say that Jalen Hurts was more impressive than Patrick Mahomes? And I'd argue that almost every single Patrick Mahomes fan out there would say no. Even though Patrick Mahomes didn't win the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was still the better quarterback last year than Jalen Hurts. And then you would start talking about the team, and it's just like, and then again, round and round we go. So I'm just curious, I'm just encourage you, and I'm curious your thoughts and how you make sense of some of these things. And just to emphasize, leave Super Bowls, leave accolades and those types of accomplishments out. It's like, how do you make sense of it? How do you process it? What does it mean to you? I don't know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.